that was almost scary. I feel like our harmony there was a little like a dissonance.
Was it giving like eerie?
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
I miss you guys. Welcome to Direct to Video.
Episode 4.
But we fucking made it. Once you make it to episode 4, I feel like you're really established as a pod.
It's happening, 100%. And I wanted to tell you all, we wanted to tell you all, by the time this airs, hopefully we're on our shit and we have gotten together a Patreon for this, and there you can watch all of our video episodes. But if you're just listening to this, we are dressed up, and Brett decided to one-up me, didn't he?
No, okay. Well, before we get back to the Patreon, I mean, we have been talking about the Patreon forever, like since episode 1, and we're super excited about all the things we can potentially do on the Patreon. We're talking like episodes where y'all ask us questions, or bonus episodes where we maybe listen to or watch like the sequels or Disney Channel original movies, and veer off a little from the Disney path. Like the options are endless. So we're so freaking excited about the Patreon.
So excited.
And we would love to see you over there. But I mean, we're all open to feedback as well. So if there's things I didn't mention that you want to see, girl, tell us and we will do that. 100%.
Wherever you can find, like on Instagram is the best way to reach me. I don't see a lot of stuff on TikTok in terms of DMs and comments, but IG, send us, me or Brett, ideas, stuff you want to see on there, and we'd be happy to do them.
Happy to do that, love.
Happy, lovely, darling.
But anyway, back to the costume, like you said. First of all, I need to give some backstory. Because I was like, I don't know what to wear today. We're texting. I'm like, should we wear pink and blue, like for the dresses? And she's like, yes, I love that. Like, I have the perfect blue outfit. I'm thinking it's like a t-shirt or something.
Because to be fair, in the past, I've not really been delivering in terms of costumes. Let's be honest.
No,
let's just say what it is.
No, let's just say that I'm a little extra.
No, he's way too nice to me. He's not owning enough that his costume game is level 11.
No.
And I was at a 5.
To be fair, I have a lot of costumes. So it's just I'm working with a lot. But anyway, maybe 20 minutes before we're planning to record, Lex posts on her story, like, Brett wanted to dress up for the pod today, putting on my outfit. She's got a fucking Ella Afrell cape on. It's gorgeous sapphire color, a beautiful blue dress with flowers on it, and she puts on a fucking crown. Meanwhile, I'm in this pink hoodie. I'm feeling like a damn clown. I'm like, no. So I'm rummaging through my shit like a psychopath. I'm like, no, we're going to go for Maleficent.
Oh, so and he looks so sexy. He is hot. And he's got this guy liner going on with the horns. I do have a little guy line. And I don't know if you can see with my ring light. It's green. Shut up.
It's green.
See what I mean? I tried, you guys. This was my moment to shine, and I was overshadowed. But
no,
it is what it is.
No, you weren't, because if we were going for the princess thing, like I can't compete with that.
Oh,
but you know what? I can't compete with the C word, CUNTY,
and it is giving. Like, it is
villain.
I wish you could see him stand up. You might have to stand up for our Patreon viewers. Yes! Ah! I'm trying to do your gun sound effect. Brett, when you did that in your video about the hiking pants with the gunshots, I literally shit my pants. And it was so funny.
I can't believe we haven't seen each other since the hiking pants fiasco.
That video blew up. We understand why.
It blew up. People were posting it on Twitter, and Twitter does not like me, first of all.
What?
They do not like me. No, oh God.
Why?
I don't know. I think they think I'm annoying, which I am, but like,
no,
I feel like
not.
My audience on TikTok gets it a little bit. That's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Twitter, they think like that's me. 100%.
Okay, Seth and I have discussed this so much. We feel like the moment we leave TikTok, which is a very safe and kind space, like I rarely get hate comments on TikTok.
Rarely.
Like, almost never, I would say. Even when my followers are like, this one was shocking, but we still love you. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
The moment you go onto any other kind of media, it is like the meanest ever. I get hate comments on Instagram all the time. Like,
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you post on Instagram. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I've tried to post on Instagram and it's like the most deplorable people ever leaving comments. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I swear to God. And then sometimes I go into the bio and it's like, Corinthians 5:7, mommy of 2. And she just commented and she was like, you fucking skanky whore. And I'm like, oh.
You ugly. Yes, girl. And so veering back to TikTok though, I have never seen an ugly side of TikTok until recently.
Oh, your Skittles ad. I saw you talk about this. And then I went to go see I was like, oh my God, he's replying. I want to see what he's saying.
The comments are horrendous. Like,
so ridiculous.
You get in such a bubble, like, especially as a gay, where you're like, okay, homophobia is, like, not that big of a deal anymore.
Girl!
And then you post something like this, and it is crazy.
Never eating Skittles again.
Literally, getting called the F slur, someone called me a creature. Where did this creature come from? Like, I made a video that's coming out, like, tomorrow where I'm, like, responding to some of the comments, but, like,
good for you.
For a while, I was like, oh my God, like, I want to take down this video. It's so bad. And I was literally just talking about being gay.
And you were being adorable and hilarious. Like, it's just, I feel like I know we're just chatting right now, but
I know. Well, this will be the bonus. Well, I feel
like it's also like fun to have us just,
okay, good. Okay,
get to know us a little better. But I feel like this is a part that, I don't often talk about on social media is the like hard part of it is I love what we do and we're so lucky. But when your videos become truly viral, you reach some scary people out there and it's just an interesting experience to have
very
hate
scary
from people you don't know and like very mean stuff. Like,
right.
Honestly, though, sometimes it's kind of funny. Like,
it is.
Some of the things people have called me are a little amusing in a way. Like, some guy said once, like, you have the same chin as Thanos, or you look. Oh. I was like, that's kind of funny. I do sometimes have a big chin. I just thought it was kind of funny, but sometimes it's awful. Sometimes it's awful.
But I think you've, like, as a defense mechanism, like, you've had to kind of laugh it off. Because I know I've developed that as well.
Sure.
Because when you first, like, the first time you start getting hate on TikTok or whatever, it is a very scary and isolating situation to be in.
Yes.
And it's, like, it's different. Like, I know celebrities get a lot of hate as well, but they have a whole fucking team behind them and publicists showering them with love and everything. But when you're a creator in your room and you're reading just like a plethora of hate comments, it can take you to a really dark space.
I totally agree.
If you're listening to this and you sometimes want to leave the occasional hate comment, I just want you to think about that. And I know no one honestly listening is probably leaving hate comments, but like... it's just like, that's why I never leave anything negative anymore, because I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. If I don't like this person, like, I can't.
I feel like we have become, we're getting so deep, but like society and with social media and the internet, you can dissociate very easily and disconnect from the fact that another human person, you would never say, I'm sorry, these people would not say this to your face if you were walking down the street. They wouldn't have the guts. No. And it just shows that you're disconnected enough to say something and not understand that there's a full person who could potentially read this. And who knows what they could do. You don't know what they're going through. And
it's also funny, though, that you say that, because there are sometimes where I will respond to a hate comment and the person will, like, respond back and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Or they'll be like, try to be friends with me.
That.
And I'm like,
oh, you thought I wouldn't see this?
Yeah, you really thought I wouldn't see that.
Yeah,
and now that I called you out, now you're trying to backpedal or delete the comment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people delete the comment after. It's funny. Yeah.
Funny, where's the voice now?
Uh-huh. I had one guy, he like said something homophobic under the hiking pants video, and I like left a comment, fully deleted his account. Deleted his account because
motherfucking period. Was it the guy that you responded to? Was it I'm not gay, but I would put my hand in those pockets?
Not that guy.
Okay.
No, that one was amusing to me.
It
was like
amusing.
Fully like a mean homophobic comment. And he was someone that had like his picture in his bio, like you could probably track him if he could. And I think he knew that. And once I responded back, it was like, oh, I'm leaving the app. And I was like, ha!
You won't be missed. I mean, we need an evil laugh after that, especially with
yeah, with my outfit.
And your, can we hear?
The laugh?
Yeah. Wow! And with the eyes after? The evil eyes?
Because God. I'm really trying to channel Maleficent. She was so, I mean, we got to get in the movie, but like,
yeah, we should jump in.
I really am a stan of Maleficent.
Her outfit? Oh my, it was giving immediately.
Everything. Her everything. It was just, I was gagged. It was, okay, anyway, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
I guess let's start from the beginning. And we start like every Disney film. I feel like I should ask the audience, what is it? With a book.
I wrote at first, I was like, new intro, because it wasn't immediately the book, and then there was and I was like,
there was the book.
Idiot.
Which the book was fierce as fuck.
She was gorgeous. Gorgina.
Gorgeous gold book with like jewels, like precious jewel tones. I want that book like on my coffee table.
I think Disney sells those. I feel like I've seen. I was like,
Google. I really actually want that book because I was like actually so
it was pleasing. Sexy, and I realized, oh God, we're already running out of. We are just.
or damn.
We have 10 minutes. I think we can go for like.
We can, yeah.
Then start it. But the other thing I noticed right away is I think this might have been the book that Shrek models it. I'm always bringing Shrek into this. I need to relax. But the font, I think, was exactly the same as Shrek. I was like,
wow.
I think.
Shrek did their research. If they did one thing, is make a good movie. Okay, first of all. And do the research.
Period. Mm-hmm.
They absolutely did. And yeah, I love that book. I mean, compared to like the Snow White book, that shit was ugly. The Sleeping Beauty book, they leveled up.
They did. And I kept thinking about you as I was watching this, because I'm always thinking about you. But I didn't, from my memory, I didn't grow up watching this, and I knew you did. So I was curious to see your thoughts now versus then. The only connection I had to Sleeping Beauty that I remember was I got a Barbie doll that was Sleeping Beauty, and I was obsessed with her because she had a pillow that you could click it, and it would go... And I didn't even really know what that song was as a kid, but I loved it. And her eyes would close, her eyeballs, which was...
I love that. No, Sleeping Beauty was played a lot in my household because I right. Well, so my sister was obsessed with Sleeping Beauty. She called it "I Know You." She would be like, "I want to watch I Know You," because of her song, like "I know you, I walk with you," and so that was her name in our household. And I would be like, "Emma, it's not I Know You. It's Briar. Her name's Briar Rose." But I also like the film too because I would like when I was younger, I had an obsession with like the way Disney animated hair. Like that's why I loved Ariel because her hair was slow, and I loved Pocahontas and Aurora because she has the most gorgeous.
I have chills as you said that because I was thinking the same.
I was thing. Like, it was like mesmerizing to me as a kid. So that's why I love this film, and I love the aesthetics of the film as well. It's which I feel like still holds up. Beautiful art.
Oh yeah.
I forgot the name of the artist that designed all of the background pieces and everything. I googled it.
Oh, good. You're a research king.
Because his like stills from the film are incredible.
Stunning.
I forgot his. You hear me clicking in the mic? It's like Elwin Dibbling or something like crazy.
Elwin 8 with this film.
Elwin 8.
Also, I love how they, at the beginning, they're like, they named her Aurora after the dawn because she brought sunshine in their lives. Okay, slayed that. I was like, that's so cute.
I want someone to say that about me. His name was this is why I couldn't remember it. Eyvind Earl. Eyvind Earl.
Eyvind Earl. Was he
But his art is Gorgina, and you can definitely see the inspiration with all like the background sets and every sets like they were actually filming, but like the background pieces and whatever. It was he did a great job.
They're so stunning. I wrote that as well.
Yeah. No, but I loved this film growing up. Like it was definitely, and I loved Maleficent too.
Did you love her growing up?
Gay icon, yeah.
Oh, because she was scary. I wondered if she would have been scary as a kid.
No, not to me.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah,
I really love that.
scared of Lady Tremaine for sure, but not Maleficent.
Wow, no. Period. Huh.
No.
You saw something in her that you related to.
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Like I loved like the voice actress's delivery of Maleficent's lines.
And it's Lady Tremaine's voice, you said, right?
Yes, yeah. Was just so
she's amazing.
Intriguing. It was honestly like I think it like listening to voice actors like that is like what makes me want to be a performer. Like the just energy that you can put into a microphone that like becomes this whole characterization. Like Ursula too, Pat Carroll. I like you could study her. Like the way they deliver these lines and everything, it's incredible. But yeah, like Maleficent's a masterclass in like how to be a villain.
Totally agree.
How to voice a villain, yeah.
And I wrote, and I know they did this, and I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in so long. I was like, I want to know so much more about her. Like, what is her backstory? Which I guess is the live action film. Is it good? I haven't. Yeah, I was worried about that.
It was fine. They try to like recreate some of the scenes, like Maleficent's iconic monologue that she does when she like shows up at the christening, and she's like, you know, Angelina Jolie like does her own take on it, and it's just not as iconic. They should have not done that.
Yeah,
but, like,
I hear you.
It was interesting where they veered off and like, you know, gave some background knowledge, but also I kind of like miss the idea of a villain just being a villain because they're evil.
Sure, totally. Like, we don't always have to make them nice. When they came out with the Cruella live action, I'm like, how are we spinning this? She skins puppies?
Right. And then they, like, in a weird way, try to, like, rewrite the original film. And it's like, no,
just let them be evil. I agree.
Let them be evil, yeah.
Especially Cruella. She had no redeeming qualities. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
None. And that's kind of why they're so iconic.
Yeah. And I looked up the voice actress. Did you know she was in Dumbo first, and Disney loved her so much? That's why I know. I think she was like the mother elephant or something. Someone can fact check that. But they loved her so much they kept bringing her back. Or am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of. Okay, no, just kidding. I was thinking of when Flora started talking, I was like, she sounds like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. And then I Googled it. She is the fairy godmother. And I think she was the voice of Dumbo. And they kept bringing her back.
No way.
Yes.
They did that quite a bit, though. Like,
once you were, like, in, you were in, it seemed.
Like, the guy who voiced Winnie the Pooh voiced, like, a million.
No fucking way. I didn't know that.
He voiced the snake in Jungle Book.
It's so scary. What? That's talent. That is talent.
He's voiced, like, if you look him up, he's voiced, like, a million characters across, like,
wow.
A lot.
Okay, love that.
The narrator this time gives us a little bit of backstory about the king and the queen and Aurora, and they're basically saying, like, the king and the queen have a baby. Her name's Aurora. The whole kingdom's getting together to have a big celebration. That's really all we get.
Yep.
And so we kind of start the movie with this big celebration going on. And I love kind of how there was that chorus of people. There's just like this chorus of vocalists that kind of follow us throughout the film. And I thought it was so funny how the chorus was like echoing what the narrator was saying, because he was like, they had a child and they named her Princess Aurora. And the chorus was like, Queen Aurora. Yes. And then he's like, and we cut to that joyful day, and they're like, oh, that joyful day.
Okay, how soon would you lose your mind if you had that in real life? Everything you said.
Either I would learn to really embrace it and kind of sing along, or I think I would be in a padded cell. Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm kind of like a court jester at heart. Like, I love the campy shit. I get it. Being a little extra. So, like, maybe I would really learn to embrace it.
Right.
Or I would really, like I said,
lose your shit.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Valid.
So, I don't know. I guess we'll know maybe one day if I develop that voice. And we kind of cut to this like parade of people entering the castle, and it's gorgeous art. Like I said, it's like very Renaissance-y, very stained glass windowy. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know if you agree, but I think it's probably the prettiest, most beautiful like Disney film we've seen so far.
Oh, 100%. I was thinking that the art was just completely next level. And one interesting thing about these old animated movies is because everything was animated by hand, it always kind of catches me off guard when like the character that's not speaking or any character in the background is like fully not moving. Like they'll literally just be like this.
Yes.
I don't know. It always, I don't know. It gives like painting vibes, like painting come to life vibes.
Yeah,
no, I know necessarily a bad way, but.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm sure they put a lot of work in like the backgrounds and everything, so they can't be like animating.
Exactly.
But I did notice that, and like once I did notice it, I could not look away.
Really? So you noticed that too?
Because I was like, that lady's not moving. Like, she hasn't moved once.
Every single one of the like party goers is like,
mannequin challenge. Yeah, just stuck there.
And then we kind of go to it's the baby, she's born, and then the fairies are introduced. And I wrote that the fairies are the main characters. I mean,
I loved the fairies.
You loved them as a kid?
Not even as a kid, but like I knew they were going to be in this movie. Obviously, I've seen this movie a million times, but I haven't seen it in like probably close to 20 years.
Wow.
So seeing it again and like going into it, I was thinking like, I don't think I'm going to like the fairies. I feel like they're going to be annoying. Like they're going to be like that trope in all the Disney movies we've seen so far where it's like the kind of annoying sidekicks.
Yep.
But I loved them.
Loved them.
Every scene they were in.
Me too.
Yeah, they were just, I loved all their distinct personality. Did you notice how their personality tropes like were the same as the Powerpuff Girls?
No.
They are. Flora's Blossom, Merryweather's Buttercup, and Fauna is Bubbles.
100% you're right. You're so right.
But you do kind of see that trio like in a lot of like Totally Spies as well. It's like the same kind of.
You did not just fucking bring up Totally Motherfucking Spies. That was my sister and I played that as a game. I'd always be like, want to play Totally Spies? And she'd be like, yeah. And so we would just run around like my grandparents' house and like pretend we were on missions. And we'd be like, yes. Jerry, like what are we getting today? And I always Clover because I was blonde, but loved her.
Clover. I like the main girl with the ginger hair.
Exactly. That's who my sister got to be.
Okay. And you know who else? And I hope you get this reference. The Hex Girls.
I didn't watch that as much.
I would love to do a rewatch of the Scooby-Doo movies.
Okay.
Because those movies ate. I can't even tell you they're so good. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, you will be introduced to the Hex Girls. And I was obsessed with them as a kid.
They were like edgy and hot.
Yes, and their songs were so good. They only had two. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you.
This is bringing back a memory.
And they were witches. They were witches and rock stars. Like, you would eat them up, Lex. I'm telling you, you eat it up.
I'm so down. Let's add that to the list.
Different movie. But yes, the fairies I was obsessed with.
Obsessed.
I was so into them. And they kind of grant Aurora their wish or their gifts, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right before that, they're like, they betroth Prince Philip to Aurora. And this was interesting because I feel like normally now whenever there's like an arranged marriage plot, it never happens. They're always like, no, I'm going to marry for true love. And then they marry someone else. But it was interesting in this, the whole play of fate where they actually fall in love and then they are betrothed. But one thing I thought was funny is like, he's obviously a child when he shows up and they're like, go look upon your new bride. And he looks and it's like a literal infant and you can see him go, huh? And I was like, okay, thank God. I was scared he was going to look at a baby and be like, yeah.
Yeah, like some fucking Twilight Jacob shit.
You imprinted on my daughter?
Yeah.
I fucking cannot.
No, I kind of enjoyed that he like.
Me too. The little kid is like, this?
Okay.
And then we get to the gifts, and I did really like this movie, but I was like, ugh. Of course, the first gift is beauty.
Oh,
like why can't we gift
made that note as well.
This woman with bravery or
intelligence?
Yeah. Of course, it's beauty. And also, I was like, okay, so we're assuming she's fugly. Was this baby hideous? Like her mom is so hot. Like she probably would have grown up to be hot anyways.
I know she looked exactly like her mom.
Exactly.
So
and I was
like the genetics were clearly geneticking. I'm like, if you want her to like, like be successful. give her the gift of learning how to code. Give her the gift.
The gift of Python.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's really in the modern era.
Period.
But no, it was like, the gift of song and the gift of beauty. I was like, typical, boring,
seriously,
lazy.
Boo, tomato. I agree. And then of course, so we do these two gifts, and right on cue, you enter.
Oh God! And this whole scene, I have this whole monologue memorized from the amount of times. Yes, I do. When she's like,
obsessed with you,
and then she's like, nobility, the gentry, and
this line,
how
savage.
quaint, even the rabble. And Merryweather's like,
I loved Merryweather. Merryweather was relatable as fuck.
Merryweather, I'm convinced, was kind of a butch lesbian forced to kind of wear fairy garb.
No wonder I loved her. Yeah.
No, because couldn't you see her in some cutoff shorts
and
a flannel
my God, yes!
And a short blunt haircut? I know someone on DeviantArt has made that, but she was giving butch lesbian, and that's why she's so frustrated. She's like, I don't want to be in this fucking dress.
No, so true.
She wants to be on the back of a Harley.
The way I would get on that with her so fast.
I would too. I trust her with my life.
No, literally. I love masked women. If any masked women are listening to this, like,
honestly, I do too.
They're
sometimes
hot
I see a masked lesbian and I'm like,
the pussy's
yeah. Like,
girl, me too. Yeah. Oh, I could go into a hole. We can get back to that.
Yes.
Also, I had a big crush on Justin Bieber as a kid. If you go back and watch this video, I'm sorry, lesbian. That's a masked lesbian.
Yeah, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. But yeah, Maleficent gives her a whole fucking monologue, and it eats. It's so good.
It's so good.
Like I was saying, the vocal delivery is just, I love it. I could watch that scene over and over again. And so she's like, I'm kind of distressed in not receiving an invitation. Merryweather's like, you weren't wanted.
Again, I was like
not what? Oh dear. And then she's like gonna leave. And the fucking stupid queen, if she didn't just shut her fucking mouth, she was like, and you're not offended?
Girl, what do you think?
Yeah. And then she's like about to leave, and she's like, why no? And actually, to prove I'm not offended, let me bestow a gift.
Oh my God, you're so right. Did you clock that even as a kid? Were you like, don't say it?
Yes, I was like, shut up. And same with Merryweather. I'm like, shut up. Like, all the power that this girl has. Why are you trying to ruffle her feathers?
That's fair. This is why they needed to gift her with the gift of intelligence.
Right.
Not song.
Right.
I could have avoided this, yeah.
I know. But yeah, Maleficent gives her curse, which is basically that before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
So dramatic.
So dramatic. Also, why a spinning wheel?
I know.
Like, why couldn't it be?
I mean, I feel like we could do a whole separate podcast about the particulars of magic in this, because there were a lot of times that I was like, why can't the fairies just pop them out of there? Why can't the fairies just, even like them fixing the curse, I was like, they couldn't have made it something easier? Like,
lots and lots of questionable magic.
Yeah.
I made notes about that later.
Yeah.
Love the magic. Questionable. But
sure
yeah.
What the rules are.
Yeah. So then Merryweather's the last one. Like, Maleficent disappears. And I love how King Stephen's like, seize that creature! Which, as someone who just got called a creature in my comment section, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But she disappears into thin air, and Merryweather's like, okay, well, let me, like you said, make my gift something that will be beneficial to this. And they say, well, she's not going to die. She's just going to be sleeping. And True Love Kiss will wake her. That's what the best that they can do, apparently.
The big setup.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now that could have made that better. Maybe like,
it's like what if like a nice hug?
Minutes.
Right. Or like woken up by the smell of gooseberry pie.
Literally. Yeah, you snap your fingers and she wakes up. Like,
I feel like there was something else we could have done.
Oh, for sure.
But you could tell, I feel like Merryweather was not exactly the brains of the group, because she was kind of going up to the cradle like, oh, and they were like, you can do it. And I was like, I see.
Yeah, she was stuck under pressure, and I get it. I would do some dumb shit like that under pressure too. I always do. But basically, they just are all kind of scared and crazed, and King Stefan orders all of the spindles in the kingdom to be burnt.
Yep.
Which was a beautiful sight, like gorgeous art, the way they animated
stunning.
the fire.
Uh-huh.
And the fairies kind of decide, like, well, what are we gonna do? They think the best option is to kind of have Aurora live with them in a cottage in the woods.
And there was this line that I wrote down because Merryweather's pissed and she's like, I would like to turn her into like a fat toad, referring to Maleficent. And I can't remember, I think it's maybe Fauna who says, but our magic can only bring joy and happiness. And Merryweather goes, well, that would make me happy. I was like, I loved her. She spoke what I was thinking. She's a bit more savage than the other two.
She was a fucking spitfire. I loved her.
Yes.
And I also love Fauna too. I think Fauna was just so
the leader.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, Flora's the leader. Fauna's the green one.
Fauna. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just like so nice and pure.
So sweet. I know. I love that. And Flora's very type A, and she's also built like a fucking brick house, tits and ass. Did you notice that?
I did. I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when they put on their like peasant garb to like be like the three lesbians that live in the woods. Like her body was bodying.
For sure. For sure.
Good. But then we kind of like skip 16 years into the future.
Yeah.
Where they're all living in the cottage, and we kind of cut to Maleficent, and she's pissed off because she doesn't know where Aurora is for 16 years. They can't locate her.
And the whole town knows that she hasn't been found because there's always like a storm going on in her castle. And I was like, she controls the weather.
Her powers, limitless.
Your powers, limitless. If anyone didn't see that, he was really giving a Maleficent glare, voguing. And it also very much reminded me, okay, when I was in grade 12, audition for the musical, it was Wizard of Oz, auditioned to be the Wicked Witch of the West, and got it.
Oh, all the hot girls did. Yes.
But like her whole castle to me was Wicked Witch of the West, the green, and even her little like monkey servants, they were like pigs in
gremlins,
this, but like the whole thing was very that. And
I so agree. And I love the scene, speaking of your laugh that you just did. She's like asking the gremlins, like, why can you not find her? Like, what are you doing? And they're like, we've searched high and low, we've searched every mountain, and
every cradle.
And the one pig's like, and every cradle. And she's like, every cradle.
I knew where that was going.
Because they thought they were still looking for a baby.
Right.
And she goes into this like maniacal laugh, which I literally rewinded it like 3 times. So I was like, it like scratched an itch in my brain, that laugh. It's so good. Maybe we can like insert an audio clip in here. But like, it was such a good laugh. And then she gets pissed off and she's like, I'm going to ask my crow to do it.
Yeah.
So she asks her crow, like, go search.
Mommy, sorry.
Yeah.
It was big mommy energy, like all these idiots. And she's like, you fools. You're the only one I can trust. Do not fail me. And they're all like, Mommy?
Yeah, Mommy. Literally.
Yeah.
That's probably why they all stayed. Because they're kind of like.
For sure. Well, I was like, what are they getting out of this? And then I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Who's to say that maybe we'll get that in Maleficent 3? We'll get a little bit more information. But yeah, Maleficent asks the crow, she's like, go look for her because I don't trust them. Then we kind of cut to the cottage.
Yep.
And Aurora is there. She's 16 and she's gorgeous.
And this fit that she's wearing with the black headband and little corset. Oh my. Yes. In my head this whole time, I was like, Halloween costume?
Yes.
This or the fairies, like so many options.
Yeah, I would wear that to the Ren Fair. That fucking costume was so cute.
So cute.
And they are all getting ready for Aurora's 16th birthday.
Oh my god.
Party. They're like trying to celebrate.
And them trying to do all this without magic was so funny.
I know. And like to get Aurora out of their house, like go pick berries. And she's like, okay.
I did that yesterday. Yeah, I loved that. And like she cuts the huge hole in the dress and I'm like, well, there has to be something for the feet. I was like,
yes.
And they said she never cooked. I was like, how have they been eating for the past 16
Right.
But Okay.
How incapable they kind of were in this scene.
I was like, how have
you exactly? How have you taken care of a baby and like dealt with her throughout all of her childhood and like whatever? It was giving very much Amelia Bedelia. Like couldn't do anything right. Fauna's like, I thought this was hilarious though, because she's like baking a 16-layer cake and they're like full, like 3 cups of flour, and she grabs like 3 random cups. She's like, what?
It's like dripping in. You're like, and then of course she throws in the 3 whole eggs.
Yeah, she's like, fold in 3 eggs, and she just puts the eggs in, and she's like, that was like so good.
It was so good. It was so cute.
So good. I loved it. Again, I stand the fairies. I just stand the fairies.
There was one line I actually cackled out loud. Of course, Merryweather speaking the honest truth. She was giving Taurus like the brutal honesty, which I love, as we discussed earlier. She's like, how do you like the dress? And then Merryweather goes, it looks awful. And Flora goes, well, that's because it's on you, dear.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Gagged.
Yeah, literally.
Fucking set her on fire.
Literally. Yeah, it was insane. She was so quick with it.
Oh yeah. And
so quick.
And it was like so sweet the way she said it. I was like,
yeah, that's because it's on you, dear. Oh God, say it again.
Yeah, so good.
Yep. I heard air horns. I know. And then Fauna too. She's like, "What's a tisp?" When she's talking about the tablespoon, she's like, "What's a tisp?" It's like so funny.
It's so cute.
But yeah. So meanwhile, while that's going on, we kind of go to Aurora in the woods,
of course,
doing everything but picking berries. Not a berry was picked.
Good point. And when she started singing, it was like almost operatic. Yes. And me and my delusional era, every time I get drunk, when you finally move here and we drink together, I love to perform opera because I just feel like I can do it for some reason.
You give a vibe that you can.
Shut up. But me and my delusional era, I feel like I could do opera like she can. Shall I?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, please.
Are we gonna get to see it? Okay.
The stage is yours. Oh.
I did that once at like midnight, and I got a text from my neighbor.
Oh no!
Just a link to the YouTube song of Ave Maria. He goes, "Did I just hear this coming from here?"
You're like, yes, that was me.
It's like, yeah, actually, are you a talent scout?
Yeah. Why?
I'm like, why do you ask? Like,
but yeah, she's giving very much opera. I honestly think she has the best voice of any of the princesses that we've heard so far.
Totally. Oh my god,
definitely classic vocalist giving opera. Her voice actress is Mary Costa, who's like a very good vocalist. So like, it was gonna happen. But yeah, so impressed with her voice, and she's like singing to the birds and like kind of frolicking about.
Again, that the Disney lonely woman who's friends with the animals trope, of course.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, and I bring this up every time. What is she to do?
No, no, absolutely. You've given me way more sympathy for this.
Before the invention of the Game Boy or even the book, what is she supposed to do?
What's a girl to do?
What's a girl to do?
I just hope she has her shots, because she was like petting the squirrels, and I was like,
yeah, you're right.
She's been vaccinated.
Very close, and I know she hasn't, because those fairies were not on top of anything.
No,
she's definitely not getting her vaccines. But yeah, she's kind of frolicking about. I love the kind of expansive scenescape.
I mean, it was gorgeous.
Of her in the forest, like she's so tiny, and like the gorge. Like it's just, I could talk about the scenes like all day long. They're so pretty.
And her barefoot in the forest too. I was like,
I know, the dream.
Yeah.
Dream. And Prince Philip's also like frolicking about in the forest as well. Thank God.
I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on him, both as a kid and now, because I have famously on my TikTok, I call him the Chad Prince. He just gives me Chad energy a little bit. He, rewatching this, I was like, okay, he's hot, but also, he's hot and a prince and has all this money. I kind of would love to see a comedic retelling of this where he was kind of like, haha, what's up, dude? Like, I don't know. I could just see him giving like Surfer Boy Chad, but I'm very curious what your thoughts are on him, just in general, and what they were as a kid, if they've changed.
The princes in general are usually kind of like they like don't register in my brain. Like I feel like they're just
very vanilla,
kind of boring. I think out of the princes we've seen so far, he's got the most personality.
Totally
he's
agreed.
Got if we're gonna marry, fuck, kill the three of them, I'm probably gonna marry him because I'm working with a bit more personality. But overall, kind of boring. I mean, kind of just yeah. So I mean, whatever. But like, to be fair, Aurora's kind of boring as well.
They don't really have much going on either.
Yeah, they're giving like head cheerleader and
I thought quarterback as well. No, you are 100% right. They're giving missionary full eye contact vibes, you know? Yeah.
They're like the Disney couple that is just a little boring, and they definitely like kind of bullied you in high school. But like, you know, they're at church every weekend, every Sunday. Yeah.
They bully you, but then they're still like, God and I love everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's giving very much that. So like they're kind of meant for each other.
And I watched Aladdin last night, and I know I've talked so much about how much I love Aladdin, but like watching that too, and then watching this, I'm like, Aladdin had so much personality. Again, that's Disney Renaissance, but like compared to the early characters, they just didn't have a lot going on.
No, but they kind of run into each other in the woods because he hears Aurora singing.
And dancing with the owl.
Dancing with the vermin, as a princess does, we've learned.
Yeah.
And Aurora's like, she's so like fucking sporadic during the scene. She's like, scared of him, and then she's holding their hands with him, and it's like very kind of bizarre. But they kind of fall in love, and then like Prince Philip's like, when can I see you again? And she like runs away.
Never. Do you remember when that was a TikTok audio?
Yeah. And then not even 2 seconds later, she's like, actually come to my cottage tonight.
Right. And again, we have the like, it always kind of creeps me out, these early princes, when the princess is clearly scared and kind of running away, and they keep grabbing at her. I'm always like, give her a sec. She's literally,
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold. It is.
It's giving that.
Is giving exactly that, and I feel like this is why we have an issue with consent, because it was always like, yes.
No, it like perpetuates this idea that women, when they say they don't want it,
they do. You're so fucking right.
Yeah.
And the other thing I laughed at is like, okay, I wrote POV. You walk into this scene, it's a hot barefoot woman dancing with an owl in your cloak. WID. And he doesn't question it at all. He has a little smile. He's not like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, they never do. And it's a little jarring and bizarre, but there's a lot of fucking weirdos in these Disney films. Like, if I were to have a conversation with Prince Philip, I'd be like, he needs medication. He needs clinical something.
Right.
Yeah. They're all fucking weird, and that's why they're perfect for each other. But yeah, then Aurora runs back to the cottage. But we also kind of like cut to before she goes back, the fairies are like, girl, this isn't working. Like, the dress is a mess, and the cake is falling over and terrible. Meriwether's like, bring out the wands.
Yeah, she's like, we're not doing this anymore. And then when the wands come out, ate it up.
I think we had the same reaction.
Yeah.
It was just a gorgeous scene. It's giving the dressmaking scene from Cinderella. It's giving the cleanup scene from Snow White.
100%.
Like, it's just very satisfying the way the cake is like coming together. The ingredients come alive, and they know exactly what to do. Like, the dress is cutting itself. Yeah. Eating it up.
We were like,
yeah. And like, Flora's baking the cake. No, Flora's making the dress. Fauna's making the cake. Meriwether is cleaning.
Right.
They don't let her do anything.
No. Right.
And this also starts kind of the rivalry of the pink versus blue dress.
When you first were like, pink, let's wear pink and blue, I was like, what does that mean? Like, does she have two dresses? And I was immediately like, oh.
Uh-huh.
I kept wondering which one was going to win. And then I remembered my Sleeping Beauty doll had a blue dress.
Right. But like, in like all the promotional materials and like the Disney princess shit, it's pink.
You're so right.
It's always pink, but she's not wearing pink. She's wearing blue way more than she's wearing pink.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, which would you have picked, pink or blue?
This is a hard one for me.
I was really curious.
I kind of, I don't know. It's like, I think the pink is like what I associate with her. But I think like a blonde girl in pink is so like boring. We've seen it.
Right.
I kind of do like
the
blue because the pink is kind of giving Princess Peach. And I realize why like she's promoted in pink is because she's kind of echoing Cinderella in her blue dress.
Yes, that's so true.
But I do think I prefer the blue.
Okay.
But you know what I would have loved to see, just to see if it would have worked? Green.
She was slayed.
Fauna was unbothered during this whole...
She's very unbothered, just period, in general. Yeah.
Yeah, but like she did not care. Like these girls are like... like
and
it's
of course...
Harry Potter and Voldemort, the way these girls are back and forth with their wands about this dress.
100%. That's probably where JK got the inspiration.
Yeah. Fauna doesn't give two shits. She's baking the cake.
And then, of course, this fight is what notifies the motherfucking crow that this is where they are. I was like, really, guys? Really?
You didn't think about the chimney? I know they closed every window, every door, and like they left the chimney wide open.
Yep.
I know. I was pissed too.
Yeah. Well, you know, and then she comes back, and you know, she's so excited, and then we get the reveal. She's like, I've met this man in the woods, and they go, well, actually, bestie, you're betrothed, and they drop this huge bomb on her. Surprise, you've actually been a princess this whole time. And
I know.
I don't even think she processes that because she's so enamored with Mr. What's-His-Face that she just immediately starts crying. And she's like, no, I can't leave tonight and go be a princess and run my castle. He's coming. This man I just met is coming.
I know. It's like, it's another trope in these films that like when the female characters fall in love, they get a fucking meth high. They get bizarre. Like, remember Cinderella when they're like throwing?
Yes, and
she's like eh. And even in The Little Mermaid, like when she's falling, like she's like singing, la, and the sisters are like, "Isn't it obvious, Daddy? Ariel's in love."
Right,
fucking high.
Right.
Yeah,
you're so
it's like in all these, like they act bizarre. I don't know why. It's like a weird like woman trope. I feel like they're trying to push.
Right. No, 100%. And I feel like everyone just ditches everyone. Like once they like someone, it's like no one matters. They're like, I know you raised me for 16 years, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So she goes up to her room and cries. And of course we get another, I think I saw a TikTok, it was like a compilation of Disney women crying, and they always fall beautifully with their arms. Her bed was I mean, it's beautiful scene.
I know,
her
the
bed is gorgeous.
Hair,
my. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she cried beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yep.
And then what happens after? I'm trying to think of what happens after that.
I think we cut to the castle, right?
Oh, yes, the castle.
Yep.
So the king...
Or the servants getting lit.
Yes. It's like we cut to the castle and King Stefan and Prince Philip's dad are like having this very long, drawn-out conversation about how
it does
Princess
go on
Aurora's
and on,
coming back and whatever. And while this is happening, the bard or whatever, like the servant who's like playing the guitar, turning up because he's like pouring the gag of the scene. He's like he keeps pouring wine into his mouth and like taking sips or whatever. Yep. Granted, I'd probably do the same thing if I was in his shoes.
Right.
But like he's getting fucked up, like it's a problem.
Yes.
Like it was funny at first, and then it's like, no, he's getting fucked
because he's trying to hold the blueprints for their new honeymoon castle, which one of the kings is like, nothing too extravagant, 40 rooms, a honeymoon cottage, which I thought was hilarious. And he's trying to hold the blueprints, and he's like, you on, what was it, 2 nights ago, Saturday?
Yeah. Literally given any given weekend. Yeah, I know. I'm proud of it.
No,
I'm trying to get on my sobriety journey. I really am.
I mean, I feel like, not us talking about drinking, but I feel like was a total party animal until I kind of hit like around 26, and now I barely drink at all. Mostly because I feel like, one, I got it out of my system. So that's why I almost support, like, get it out of your system.
Yeah.
I mean, don't, like, kill yourself, but, you know, have a good time when you're young and your body bounces back. Because now, too, I feel like one of the reasons I barely ever drink is because my hangovers are...
Yeah.
Like, I need an IV in 30 days to recover. It's, like, not worth it most of the time, you know?
I know. That's what I'm realizing, too. I had a Hennessy night 2 nights ago, and the next day was, like, I got hit by a bus.
Yes! You feel like you have the flu. Like, it's terrible. It ruins a whole... For me now, it's, like, 2 days. And my sleep and my anxiety, like... Did you get crazy? Did you do anything crazy?
Oh, yeah, I went crazy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, what'd you do?
Oh, girl, I can't tell too much. But we did end up going to a guy's apartment, like our like some guy we knew.
Okay.
And it was just a lot of sexual energy there because everyone was drunk. So we were like on the couch, a bunch of gay dudes. Like,
did you hook up with anyone? Also,
no, I didn't hook up with anyone.
If you don't want to put it in.
No hookups. I never.
Did you kiss anybody?
Kind of a prude. I did, yeah.
Who? Tell me.
I can't say. But it was like
to tell me this outside of the podcast.
It was one of those things where it's like, it was like, you know, it's not like a kiss of true love. Like we're talking about these things. It was a kiss of just, we both got mouths. Yeah.
Right. I hear you.
So
did you enjoy it? Was it fun?
Yeah, I had so much fun. It was a good night because it was just kind of like after we went to the club, it was just like at the apartment and it was chill.
Yeah.
And talking and it was fun. It was fun.
The last time I was like actually very drunk was New Year's Eve, and girl, I was a hoe.
Yeah, as you should.
Literally, people would look at me for like 10 seconds and I'd go, should we kiss right now? Like dead ass. But my friends know that about if the moment I drink, we're all making out for sure. So
yeah, that's what happens. I mean, that's how I used to do that in college all the time. Like in college, I think I kissed more of my friends than I did with any boys.
Right.
Because it was just like, I don't know. You get weird when you're drunk. I mean,
I feel it just removes all the inhibition. I would kiss my friends sober.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I wrote a couple things from this conversation. So the dads talk, blah blah blah. The guy's drunk. Also, I think that Aurora's castle is the one at Disneyland. Is that right? Sleeping Beauty's castle?
Yes.
And then Disney World is Cinderella.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought that was cool. And then we jump to, I think Prince Philip shows up at the castle and he goes to talk to his dad. And he says, the first time I feel like any Disney movie has been kind of self-aware. Well, there've been a couple moments in this, but like he talks to his dad and he's like, I've fallen in love with a peasant woman. And his dad's like, a peasant woman? And he's like, Father, you're living in the past. This is the 14th century.
Yes.
I loved that. I thought that was great. I love that line
too. That sold me on Prince Philip, I think. I was like,
Right. Him being so modern. He's like, I don't care about money. She's a peasant, but I love her. I was like, okay. And like,
I know.
A couple scenes where I'm like, okay, he's hot.
Yes.
Like I got it.
The whole ending scene, like he's like out of all the princes, he's definitely like the bravest. Like
totally.
He's, conquered the most shit.
But I will say the fairies were carrying him. Like
yeah.
I always get so many comments when I hate on him. Like I don't even hate on him. I just like make fun of him. But people are always like, he slayed a dragon. He slayed a dragon. I'm like, actually, did he?
Yeah, because I don't think that sword was his. I don't think that shield was his. Yeah.
And at the end, he hasn't killed the dragon, and she goes, strike true. And then anyway.
Yeah. No, you're right.
We'll get there. But I thought that was funny. I wrote, he wants to marry a peasant. We love. And then, I guess it's we finally get to, so the fairies are chittering and they feel bad about making.
Yeah, that's a great word for
Merryweather's a whole vibe. She's like, I don't see why he has to marry an old prince. But again, now that I think about that is giving lesbian,
Yeah.
Right. And they're talking amongst themselves because Aurora is depressed, honey. She shows up at her castle They give her a crown, and she starts crying because she's...
Honestly, that cloak that you're wearing right now is giving very much the cloak that she was kind of escorted to the castle.
That's what I was going for. She wears a couple cloaks. I was going for that.
And they they take her to her bedroom, and she's they're telling her and here's your crown, and you're a princess, yada yada. She just immediately starts sobbing.
Which, I don't know. I wanted to make fun of her for that, but I kind of related a little.
I know.
I mean, I guess
16 years old. All you're thinking about is a boy.
It's this boy, and I guess show a little bit of excitement that you're a princess. But you know what? If she's she's so enamored by this guy. I was like, okay. And then we get your entrance.
Oh my god, this scene was haunting. It was. I love it, and I recently saw a TikTok. Word. I recently saw a TikTok where someone pointed this out, and I never noticed. But you know how you hear that?
I looked out my window. I was like, "Where the fuck is that noise coming from?"
It's they're saying, yeah. So that's what hypnotizes her.
Yeah.
Because she's known by the fairies as Briar Rose. So this is the first time she's being called Aurora.
Oh fuck, you are right.
Yeah. So it's Maleficent's spirit or whatever. She kind of leads her through the fireplace. The fireplace turns into a long hallway. And it escorts her. This is this green orb that's escorting her up, and she's out of it.
So creepy.
Yeah.
So creepy.
Aurora's got nothing going on behind the eyes.
No.
And she's just following this thing up to this tower.
Yep.
And the fairies are like, "Oh my god, something's going on." They enter the room and realize Aurora is she's following Maleficent's thing.
Yep.
And then Maleficent makes the fucking fireplace turned back into a fireplace, and the fairies are pounding on it for a good amount of time.
They're like, "Oh, right," and then they wand it and open the. I know.
It's that should be your first thought, not your 31st.
It was occasionally giving Dumber and Dumbest.
Oh yeah,
right. We love them, but
it's there's also one winding staircase that for them to go up to, but the fairies are like.
Whenever are they flying? But there were a couple moments where they're running, and I'm like, "You guys,
you can fly."
Right.
That's such a good point. Why are you not immediately flying?
Flying, exactly. I think maybe in this scene they were, but there was a couple.
No, they weren't.
They were walking.
Yeah, they were running. They were scurrying about. Yeah. And
but those giant knockers, that's going to slow you down. When you're running.
I know. But they eventually find Aurora. She's at the top. Well, they actually find Maleficent first. She's like, "You fools! You really think you could defeat me? Now look at your precious princess." She moves her cloak, and again, she's fallen so gracefully and beautifully. Cascading hair. Gorgeous, L'Oreal.
Yeah.
Hair.
Oh, yeah. But again, it was giving Pinocchio in the water.
Pinocchio face down in the puddle. It was.
I was like, she looks fucking dead.
Yeah,
but I mean, as we know, she was just in eternal sleep. But
she looks fucking dead. She was.
Well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh god, well she's dead," and they somehow carry her to the tower where she kind of lays eternally. And they're like, "Here she is, dead."
And then they make this fucking hilarious decision. They're like, "Oh my god, Stefan's gonna be so upset." And one of them goes, "Got it. What if we just put everyone else to sleep and we'll figure it out?" I mean, hilarious.
So that's really the only option we got.
Make decisions is so funny.
Well, actually, that's funny because I didn't realize that their magic had to be only used for good.
Right.
You know what I was saying? You mentioned that, and I was like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense with kind of their spells." There were a couple moments where I'm like, "Why don't you make a more violent spell?
Right?
Why don't you Avada Kedavra these hoes? Why don't you do something?"
That's a phenomenal quote. Why don't you Avada Kedavra these hoes?
Yeah.
I want to make a remake of this movie where we play all the characters. And Merryweather has a line like that.
Yeah, well, I would love to be dressed I would probably be Merryweather the fairy.
Yeah, I could
the little
see
short
that.
Yeah.
But you have to play Maleficent as well. We have to play. Honestly, you maybe should play all the fairies, to be honest.
Girl, no. I mean, because then who are you?
I can be Philip and Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, I could. Okay,
or I could be Philip and you could be Sleeping Beauty. And I'm gonna play him as a Chad, and I feel like you can play her as the cheerleader, and we're gonna pitchy.
I love that. I love that idea.
I'll pitch it to Disney.
But yeah, like you said, they put them all to sleep. They just put everyone to fucking sleep, and they just wait for Philip to kind of arrive because they hear the king muttering.
Right, I forgot about that.
Once upon a dream, and so like Flora makes that connection. Like, oh my god, the boy that Aurora met in the woods was Philip.
Yeah,
we got to go get Philip. He's at the cottage. So they float away to the cottage.
But who's there before them?
Who's there before them? Maleficent. Maleficent. Oh,
this was terrifying. Her whole capturing of him, and when she was like, yeah. So he walks into the cottage, or he knocks on the door, and I'm like, Philip, no. And she goes, enter. And he walks in and she immediately gags him.
Yeah.
And, like, wraps him in all these ropes. And then she goes, I have plans for our royal guest. And I was like, Did you?
That's so funny that you said that because I literally wrote in my notes, Maleficent says she has plans for him, ? My mind immediately goes sexual.
Oh, 100%. It was like dominatrix.
Because he's like in these ropes. Like,
and he's hot and she's hot and she's like, gentle with him. I have plans. I was like,
I know. I was very, my mind went sexual and I was like, I'm getting 50 Shades of Grey. I know someone probably has that animated somewhere.
When I met up with, oh no, I shouldn't, I'm gonna have to cut his name because he'll be horrified. And we were talking about, my Disney TikToks, whatever. And he goes, okay, but have you seen the art by this person? And it's Prince Eric and King Triton. And it's throbbing.
Oh.
And they're sucking each other off. Oh, honey, have you seen these before?
Oh, I've seen some of them. I've seen, because people were talking about like Milo and Tarzan. Like, have you seen Milo and Tarzan? And I was like, what are you talking about? Google it. It's a fully animated, gorgeously animated scene of Milo and Tarzan fully having, gay sex.
No! Like opening up another browser. I'm like,
full. And like that artist has like done like, what was it? Kristoff from Frozen and
love him.
The Prince Flynn. I was researching after that. I was like, I need to see this guy's work. He is like all the Disney men are fucking.
Okay, I'm so curious. Who's your like biggest Disney male crush?
Hercules.
Oh yeah, you love a himbo.
Because he's got the body type that I like. I want him. You mean
like gigantic and ripped?
Yeah, and but he's also sweet. He's got the personality.
Himbo.
Because what I love about him is I don't trust people that have been hot their whole life.
And Hercules, you're speaking my language. Yep.
Hercules was not hot his whole life.
And was bullied. No, period.
Yes, and he's still got that insecurity, but he like is like that's what I love.
I totally get it. Yep.
Yeah. And so Hercules is wait, who's yours?
When I was a kid, it was Aladdin and Kovu. But again, Aladdin. Again, with both of them, especially.
Kovu catches me off guard every time. I always,
No, I was like 7 years old, and I was like, I want him, and I can't.
No, I have a friend, one of my really good friends, Camille. I don't think she'll care if I say her name, but her crush was Kovu too.
I mean, he's the OG Kovu. Bad boy that's turned that is good at his core. He's just been brainwashed,
right?
And watching him go through. I mean, we'll get to it. But as I rewatched Aladdin too, like Aladdin is poor and he's very insecure about it, and he kind of puts on this bravado, but underneath, I also love how he doesn't listen to the rules, but he's also so kind. Like they steal that bread and he sees those starving children, he gives it up for them, and like, it's this, but underneath it all, he's like, I don't think I'm good enough, but he's still brave and he still does the right thing, but he's also like cheeky.
Oh my god, no, literally I have children now because one of my favorite songs in Aladdin is his song,
is it the reprise?
Street Rat. I don't buy that.
I'm screaming.
It's so cute.
I always like. Look closer.
It's so sweet, but I love Aladdin too. Yeah, he's so cute.
You're making me froth at that. That is I was singing it all last night. It's one of my favorite songs of all time in
so
Disney.
Good. It's that song. It's the Part of Your World reprise. It's like all the reprises are so good. The Belle's reprise when she's like, I want adventure
in the great wide.
So good.
And I know we'll get back to this, but there was something else I was gonna say. Of modern princes like Flynn Rider, Kristoff, because we're thinking Disney, like early Disney. Who's your favorite then? So I feel like that's different eras.
Honestly, probably. Oh God, I do like Kristoff a lot.
I love Kristoff.
I just love his face, the big nose, like.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think who the other modern princes are.
I was thinking about that too. I could only think of Flynn and Kristoff.
Yeah, and Hans. No.
Or.
Yeah, I guess Kristoff.
Yes,
that's the three.
Yeah.
Flynn never really did it for me. I know people foam at the mouth for Flynn.
That's so interesting. I think he's really hot. But okay, fair. Yeah. I can kind of see why. He is very much like that performative bravado, and we've been over it. That's not your thing.
Which doesn't do it for me, yeah.
I love knowing this about you. I feel like it tells me more about you.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Sorry, I wanted to know
I love that. No, I love that. More of that.
Okay,
where did we leave off?
Our dominatrix has taken Philip to her castle.
Okay.
And we see this scene of all of her like demon creatures having this like creepy what is it called? Burning Man rave.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
I love it. I love the green fire, by the way.
Me too. She just has to be so at first when she goes, she's like so happy, and then she's like, you know who should be here? Like Prince Philip. Let's go to the dungeon to cheer him up. At first I was like, but no, she goes there to be the most evil.
Yes. And oh my God, this part was so
this was so bad for Philip.
But also like I think Fauna makes a comment early in the movie when she's like, they're talking about Maleficent, and they're like, she kind of like makes a comment where she's like, I think she's really sad, or I think she's like really, like makes some sort of comment about that.
He does.
And if you notice in that scene, like while they're all partying, she has a very sad look on her face when she's sitting there by herself.
I mean, this is everything she's wanted, but is it?
Yeah, and it kind of zooms in on her, and she's like, she thinks of this like something I can do right now to kind of like push the needle in further. And it's like, it's kind of that psychology of like what makes someone evil, and it like makes you think like, is she just like in a lot of pain mentally that like that's her way?
You are so deep.
Well,
and you are such a wonderful person.
No,
you are. You are like, the more we get to know each other, like I don't know, I feel like you have this like you getting all like sentimental.
I know. I'm
you have this like beautiful like way of like seeing deeper in people. Like it's this very like kind nature about yourself.
Well, it's just something I think there have been points in my life where I wish people would do that to you. Me, where it's like now I recognize that in other people. Like where it's like if you're going through, because I feel like I was kind of refuting what I was saying earlier, where some people are just evil and they're born evil. But like I think with people like modern people, us, with a lot of evil shit that goes on, like there's always something behind it. There's something that's motivating that, and usually it's pain or it's insecurity or it's fear.
I totally agree.
And I don't know, it's kind of like interesting to me. It's like maybe my inner sociologist where I'm like, I want to get to the bottom of why you're
Or it's just
why
like
you think that way.
Right. But I also just think you have this like kindness about you. It's like giving Disney in a way, but like you're like, let's like, because I feel like it takes courage and kindness to look at someone and like see that and not see what they're projecting, you know?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I meant that.
It was just something I noticed when she was sitting there, because I was
I didn't notice that. So
if you look, she looks kind of really sad. And then then that idea sparks in her head and she's like, I'm gonna go,
because that's all she knows how to do is like inflict pain at this point.
Right. That's all she knows.
But that is deep.
Yeah, but like going into that little spell, she kind of shows Philip his future, where basically he will be in this dungeon for the rest of her life while Sleeping Beauty...
she'll finally let him free when he's ancient. And she's like, then we'll see how true love prevails.
Yeah. So evil. And then she just kind of walks away.
Because at first I was like, why is she telling him all this? Like, she reveals everything to him. It's to torture him.
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally.
Yeah. I know. And then it makes you think, like, what's going on in her head that she felt the need to, like, distract herself by just going down there and making him feel more like shit.
Yeah, because that was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that's kind of what I wish the direction of the Maleficent movie went into. It's like, she is evil, but, like, why is she evil?
Why is she evil?
And, like, go into the, like, real, like, if we want to get into the nitty gritty of it and we want to be faithful, if we want to be faithful to the original movie, why is she that way? And don't give me some bullshit thing where, no, she's actually good and she's protecting. No! Be faithful to your movie.
Yes, agreed.
You know, and give us I want the trauma of what made Maleficent Maleficent.
Because you know what they say, no one is born evil. So how did she become evil? Like, I think that is what makes a really good villain. Someone that's not 100% evil. Yeah. Someone that you can see a little bit of a backstory that maybe they were good once, but something so devastating happened to them that it turned them this way, you know?
Yes.
That's more interesting.
I agree.
Anyway.
It's something we can relate to.
Yeah.
Everyone can relate to.
In some way,
but sure. Like that's what happens, and Maleficent goes back to the party, and meanwhile the fairies are kind of watching all this go down because they found their way into the castle, and they're like, okay, we gotta free Philip. So they do their little, like, they somehow turn their wands into, like,
these things off, right?
And they get the shackles off.
Another moment that I was like, we can't just zap him out of this castle. Like, let's just poof right there. What?
I know, because all the gremlins start chasing after them, and I'm like, you just did your massive sleeping spell. You can't do that on everyone in the kingdom. You can't do that to the little goons that are chasing. Like, come on.
Great point. I wondered if this was some, like, kind of test, because they were like, now he has to be tested for true love, like the real battle is now, whatever. But anyway, he's, like, running through the castle, and they are helping him every step of the way. I loved seeing what they would do. Like, when the rocks were falling, they turned it into bubbles.
Yes.
And when the arrows are, it's flowers. And then the, like, muddy water becomes a rainbow. I was like,
a rainbow, gay pride.
Love that. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I was like, in Pride Month.
Yes. I know, and then he kind of flutters away, and Maleficent's like, these guys are useless. Let me make this harder for him.
With all the powers of hell. I was like,
oh my god. That line shocks me to my core every time.
Truly! And this made me remember, because you had mentioned something about how this was, like, too scary, or, like, she was giving demon or something.
Yeah, when this movie originally came out, it flopped because there was kind of this social movement going on with the Christians, where they're like, this movie's demonic, because of Maleficent, because of, like, her, because I think it was the horns and, like, the magic, it's giving demon, I guess.
But I don't understand that, because isn't Christianity, like, Christianity has the devil, and it's people God triumphing over the devil, and isn't that what happens in
right. It doesn't ever really make sense.
The hypocrisy truly never ends.
I mean, they said the same shit about Harry Potter, too. Like, a lot of people couldn't watch Harry Potter growing up because of magic spells.
Oh, I guess, right. It's the magic.
It's just bullshit. I mean, if you're
Doesn't the Bible have, like, bestiality and rape and shit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the things that the Bible says is okay are not literally not okay. But, you know, we pick and choose.
Yeah, right.
That's what we've learned. But yeah. So when this movie originally came out, did not do well because of that kind of
That's
metaphor.
So interesting.
Well, that's, like, one of the reasons why. I think there's other reasons, too. I think they just, in general, thought the movie was a little too dark.
Okay. I mean, I have no problem with people that are religious or have faith, but that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, it also came out in the 50s, so, like,
okay.
You know.
Right.
It was a different society.
Yeah.
Different society.
Oh, that's fair.
Not one I'd want to live in, honey.
The moment you go back in time as a woman, I mean, it's just, I have rights back? Could I vote? I don't even know.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But, okay, so now we get to see Prince Philip be a little bit of a baddie. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay with the sword, okay with the shield, okay with I was into this. That super dramatic scene of him on the cliff with like the sun setting, and now he's fighting. She finally, so he does all the, I'm jumping ahead in my mind, but she does all the brambles by the castle and he's slicing through them.
Yes.
And my boner is thickening. Yeah, and then it's throbbing, it's hitting me in the face at this point.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, this isn't working. Fine. I'll just fucking turn into a motherfucking dragon.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was insane. And I loved the sound effects of the dragon snapping its mouth. Like
and the way that the like fire is kind of like frothing out of its mouth.
Very good. And
terrifying.
Oh my god. So good. The whole fight scene is very cool. Like definitely, like I said, he's the most courageous prince we've encountered so far. I really do agree. Proving his true love.
I agree. But then who makes the final strike? It's the fairies. The fairies are like, okay, here we go. And I'm like, I could have done this like 12 minutes earlier. I don't know.
Yeah,
we had to go through this.
Yeah, we do this a lot in Disney movies. I know it's where it's like we couldn't really cut to the chase. Okay,
right, but then we would have gotten this dramatic, beautiful scene, terrifying scene.
So yeah, they basically summon the sword to stab Maleficent in the heart. She lets out this wail.
Yep, and his cape too was a sleigh in this. I mean,
like, capes are always kind of a sleigh.
I agree.
They never don't.
Edna says no capes, and I understood why, because his cape kept catching on the brambles, and I was like, just take it off. But like, God, it looked good.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't take it off.
Yeah, me neither. We could take it off later.
I mean, hey.
Or leave it on.
But yeah, that's kind of it. And then Maleficent dies, and then Philip goes up, kisses Aurora.
Right, while she's asleep.
While she's asleep.
Right.
Questionable.
But at the same time, they had met before. But still, she wasn't awake to say it's okay.
Right, and I guess also in going back to Maleficent when she's like showing Philip's future, she kind of does like unintentionally give some backstory on Aurora. She's like, your princess that you met in the woods who's sleeping and will only be awoken with true love's kiss.
Right.
Okay, I'm kind of learning here.
Right.
So that wakes her up, and it wakes up the entire kingdom.
Yep.
And it kind of just cuts back to the big throne room.
Yep.
And
they walk down together. And the dad's in the blue dress, and the dads are ecstatic. I hated how, we're running out of time. We can finish this.
Yeah.
I hate how they just don't explain. This used to bother me as a kid when things just aren't explained to people, and they just don't explain to the dad, because the dad's like, I thought you loved the and then he's like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. Works for me. And then they're sing together, and it's the big, happy ending.
Yeah, I mean, and also, did you notice that like Aurora really doesn't have many lines in this film at all? I don't think after she wakes up, I don't think she has one line. I don't think she has any lines actually after she wakes up.
Of course.
Yeah, but even in the beginning, she doesn't talk that much.
Yeah.
It's really her big scene is the forest scene in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then after that, she's kind of in the background.
So right. I kept thinking the fairies are like kind of the main characters in this.
Yeah, the fairies and Maleficent. And kind of the kings, unfortunately.
Even though this movie is obviously very sexist, it does pass the Bechdel test, which I kept thinking about. Because right away, the fairies are having a conversation with Maleficent, and they're talking about Sleeping Beauty. They're not talking about a man. So I was like, okay, women in this movie. But, still very problematic elements, but,
I mean, yeah, comparatively to like Cinderella, and Cinderella's actually not
as bad, right?
Snow White's pretty bad.
I would agree.
Yeah, but I mean, for its time, not awful. I mean, to have like 3 major female leads,
huge,
kind of being badasses and
saving the
being
day,
funny and having good dialogue, and
totally agree.
It was
one's a lesbian, right?
One's a lesbian for sure.
And then we get the last laugh, the gag again of the pink and blue dress, and then it ends.
And then it ends. They're kind of dancing in heaven or like in the clouds.
I loved the pan to the clouds.
I know. And then it's done.
Yep. And then it's done. And they live happily ever after, and the book closes. And I enjoyed this way more than I thought I was gonna.
I did too. I'm glad you said that. I think it was It was well paced. I think the pacing was really good.
Oh my god, they're getting better each movie with the pacing.
Yes. Yep. And it was beautiful to look at. There wasn't one character in this film
that I didn't hate.
That too. But like usually in these Disney films, there's one character I'm like, here we fucking go again. But like, there wasn't one character that I was annoyed with.
Right. And I also think we were scarred after last week. I mean,
Pinocchio, yeah.
Pinocchio was not okay. It was not okay.
It doesn't get much worse than Pinocchio. I think that's kind of, yeah.
I truly hated that movie.
Yeah.
The more it sat with me, the more I'm like,
what the fuck? Yeah.
Expel that from my body. I just opened my mouth in a beam of light.
Yeah.
I need an exorcism after that. We got it with this. We got it with this, or we got it earlier, but we got it out of our system, and I really liked this. I maybe I'm hyping it up because I know it's not going to hold a candle to like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, whatever, but like based on what we've seen, I almost give it like a 7 fairies out of 10. Like a 6.5,
I was going to say 6.5, 7, I think is where I'm at.
Okay.
So I think out of all the movies we've seen so far, it's probably been my favorite.
I like Cinderella too because it was nostalgic for me.
Right.
But I did really like this one.
Yeah, I think Snow White I gave a 7, 6 or 7.
Yes.
Cinderella I think 2, like a.
Yeah, you gave. Yeah.
But Snow White edged up a little bit for me just because I love the weird factor of it, and then I think Pinocchio's at the bottom. I mean,
totally agree.
I don't know if it's gonna get much worse than that. Like looking forward, I don't know.
I'm optimistic. I'm really curious about Alice in Wonderland because I have not seen that for ages.
Well, should that be our next one?
I was going to say it's up to you. It's your turn to pick.
I'm down for Alice in Wonderland.
I think super into that.
That one's going to be weird. Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah. I'm so down for Alice in Wonderland. I think that will be fun because that one also has had a lot of remakes, a lot of like It
has. That's so true.
And I would love to see the kind of first cultural iteration of
that. Me too. Okay, done. Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it.
Okay.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this. And if you watched the movie, I would love to know your thoughts. If you want to comment or DM or whatever, I would love to hear.
I think we'll create a Patreon this week and add the links, I guess, in our what is it called? Our link trees.
Yes.
So in our bios on our social media, we should have that link. And so we've been getting a lot of comments. I don't know if you've seen them, but a lot of people are like, where can I watch this? Where can I watch this?
Yeah.
So we'll upload, and I don't want to say the videos are the highest of quality because we're still on Zoom, but we are going to be together as of September, and then the quality should go way up. But at least you can watch us. Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
And also, if you would be so kind to leave us a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We would love that.
I read all the reviews that we have on Apple. They were
so sweet. I know. We literally read all of them and we like send them back and forth and we're like, oh my god.
So it means a lot to us.
Yes. So we would love to hear that. But thank you everyone for listening to another episode.
Thank you. And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Okay. So you should say bye and then I'll echo you. Like
okay.
Goodbye. Goodbye.